The donkey's temporary citizenship gave both Tom and me a mental reprieve from our worries, and it helped me avoid the feeling of defeat that had settled in my stomach like a wad of cookie dough, which is always a huge mistake to eat in the first place. Watching our new resident become familiar with his home and learn to trust us in the process provided a relief valve, not to mention a favorite topic of dinner conversation. "Hey, have you noticed how the donkey can reach almost every part of his body with his teeth to scratch wherever he itches? Pass the butter, please." "I know. I saw him reach underneath his tail today. He bent completely in half, backward, flipped up his tail, and started scratching it. Rolls, anyone? Seriously, I think he's double-jointed or something. More spaghetti, thank you." We quickly learned to watch his velvety ears, which moved constantly. Pricked forward showed his interest and inquisitive nature. Facing backward meant he was afraid, uncertain, displeased. One forward and one back? Well, it called for interpretation, especially when accompanied by a hoof stomp or tail swish. His ears were a key part of his communication, a silent form of expression that delighted us. We began to educate ourselves about donkey care, what kind of diet was best, how to groom him, how to care for his hooves, which vaccines he'd need. Our pasture, labeled unimproved by the county, was perfect for this animal who was made for arid desert life. The tough native grasses in our 6-acre pasture, baked by the Texas sun and blown by incessant winds, would provide enough nutritional roughage without being too rich. The back section of the fenced area included woods that he could use for shade and foraging. He would need little supplemental feed, except perhaps in winter months, or in the peak of summer scorchers, when grass withered to brown dust. There was more to learn than we thought, but the donkey's gentle temperament invited our attention and affection. Since he had worked his way into our barn and our hearts, we knew it was time to give him a real name. In our family's history, we'd ceremoniously christened a succession of pets: Checkers, the Springer Spaniel with brown and white markings; Buttons and Twix, handsome cat brothers; Wilson, the parakeet we rescued when we found him bouncing across the street like a tennis ball; and there was Angel, the red-tailed hawk Tom once had when he practiced falconry. Even the gerbils and fish had fancy names bestowed upon them during their brief lives in our care. The challenge had always been to find a moniker that would fit each animal's personality, yet wouldn't cause embarrassment if we had to yell the name in public. Over the years, Tom, on the grounds of his manhood, vetoed cutesy names like Schmoozy, Fluffy, and Snookums for our family menagerie, and we agreed it was a reasonable enough guideline to follow. You shouldn't make a guy who's most comfortable in camouflage have a pet whose name suggests it should be carried inside a pink purse. "So, what do you think we should call him?" I asked Tom, whose reflection I caught in the mirror while I did double duty, brushing my teeth and inspecting the crow's feet around my eyes. "Should we go with something comical, since he is, after all, a donkey, for crying out loud? Or should we find something sort of stately?" We had never had much trouble deciding with our other pets, but for whatever reason, this was quite the dilemma. Tom sat on the bed and put on his work shoes.